Hey guys, this week we talk all about our favorite parts of our joint trip to Vegas, new restaurants, bankroll versus coin-in, and more, so stick around.
Welcome to the Crap Vegas podcast.
Vegas, here we come.
Vegas!
Here are your hosts, Chris and Josh.
Hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 92 of the Crap Vegas podcast. I am Chris, he's Josh. What's going on the West Coast?
What's going on the West Coast? Well, Chris, we're gearing up for Halloween. If your kids got their Halloween costumes picked out.
I ordered the last child's costume yesterday. He has decided he wants to be the Grinch, which is not exactly Halloween.
Yeah.
But that's what he wants to be. So that's on order now. Yeah, my girls are already ready to go. So everybody's ready.
Ours is going as one of the characters from the K-pop Demon Hunters.
Demon Hunters? Yeah, I saw that. Rumi, I think, is who she chose to be.
Okay. I'll go with you on that. We were at the bookstore looking at graphic novels, and I guess there's a Demon Slayer series.
Okay.
For anime, and I got it confused with K-pop Demon Hunters, and I said to the person at the bookstore, we just watched that show or that movie, and my daughter's like, no, we didn't, and they're different things. And
ouch. Yeah, Josh, it's a completely different world. For some reason, my girls are now in love with everything K-pop. Now, they haven't gone down like the anime route yet. Like
that's where my mind is starting to go, right.
They haven't gone there yet, but they are huge fans of K-pop music, and I'll tell you how big of fans they are. On Saturday, their favorite band, which I have heard a couple of their songs at this point because that's all they play in the car now. It's called Stray Kids. It's a K-pop band. There's like 9 of them. I don't know. A lot of guys. It's a boy band.
Okay.
They were having a live concert that they were streaming on the internet. But of course, when it's live in Korea, it starts here at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, good.
On a Sunday morning.
Right.
My girls got up at 4:45 in the morning when they didn't have school or anything. This is Sunday. They got up at 4:45 to watch this concert, paid $45 for it. That's how much it cost. Granted, that's cheaper than going to the movies or anything.
To watch, it cost $45?
Yeah, $45 to stream.
Wow.
They paid for it. Even one of their friends who's a big K-pop fan split the cost with them because you could have it streaming on 2 devices. And she watched at her house, and they FaceTime called and watched a 4-hour concert. I came upstairs to check on them at like 8:30, and they were still going strong.
That's a little crazy.
A little too much? Yeah, I thought so too. Not going to lie.
Yeah, mine's gone kind of more into the anime side than the music side right now. So we'll see.
I'd rather have them on the music side than the anime side. Some of this stuff's pretty crazy.
Well, yeah, it is. Although, we went to the anime convention in Seattle last year. So I've seen some of that craziness. This year, we'll be able to identify the craziness.
Well, I think that's enough talk about K-pop related items, Josh.
And
anime. So why don't we tell people how to get a hold of us? You can send us an email. That's podcast@crapvegas.com. You can join us over on our Facebook group. It's crapvegas.com/Facebook. You can join us on Twitter.
X.
He's at Vegas Duffy. I'm at Small Whale 13, or the show page is at Crap Vegas. Or we would absolutely love to have you join us over on Patreon. That's patreon.com/crapvegas. There's a 1-week free trial. There's Fading Crap Vegas episodes every week. Just bonus content where you can make tons of money off of us on the college side and make even more on the pro side. We, of course, have free episodes every other week on there, alternate to our main show. So you get all sorts of stuff. Last episode, we spoke about our absolute favorite part of all the different strip properties out there. We got some interesting feedback, Josh. I thought I'd share a couple things.
Yeah.
We got an email from John G. and told us we left off a couple properties. I don't know how we did that on the strip, but we did. So he asked us a couple properties that we did leave off, what our favorite part would be. Josh, what about Casino Royale?
Ooh, my old favorite, Casino Royale, where I stayed for my bachelor party.
Play craps in a tub. You did all sorts of things.
Craps in a tub. I used to love Casino Royale. So if we're talking current, it's hard because they got rid of the table games. I don't know that there's much of the draw there, but I'm going to say favorite part of Casino Royale, Outback. The Outback Steakhouse.
Josh, I went right along the same lines. I said my favorite part is that they have a Denny's and a White Castle that are open 24/7.
I think overall, the best part of Casino Royale would be the food options. Yeah,
it is. And it's not even good food, but it's available. No. It's American easy food, 24/7 service.
Cheap. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could maybe say their location as a secondary thing is pretty darn good. It is.
Yeah.
And it's got good strip frontage. You can just walk right out.
Very good.
So, I mean, that's good. But yeah, that's what I'd say for Casino Royale.
Yeah, me too. And I think back in the day, and I'm assuming this is still the case. I mean, if you want, to your point, if you just walk in the strip and you want to find a good cheap drink, you can do it at Casino Royale, and I'm sure you still can. Maybe not a good drink, but cheap drink.
Yeah, there you go. The other place that we forgot, and I can't believe we forgot this one, Circus Circus, one of your favorite places to stay.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I think listener and patron and Facebook group moderator also mentioned that we forgot Circus Circus to me.
Oh, good.
Let's see. Favorite part of Circus Circus. I'm going to say there's so many to choose from. It's hard. It's like win.
Yeah, it's numerous. There's a myriad amount of solutions here.
I'm going to say I'm torn. I'm torn between a couple, but I'm going to say the Adventure Dome. Genuinely, the Adventure Dome. If you have a kid that's of that age, going to the Adventure Dome, you don't have to stay at Circus Circus. You don't have to go in much of Circus Circus, but the Adventure Dome is a fun Vegas activity if you've got a kid that age.
I hear you. I haven't taken my kids to Vegas. I never do. So that's not top on my list.
Right.
But when I think of Circus Circus and anything I would enjoy there, the only thing that really comes to mind is their steakhouse. We've eaten there together before, Josh. It's always solid. It's not the best steakhouse in Vegas by any means, but I think it's one of the best value steakhouses in Vegas overall.
Yeah, for what you're getting for the money, I think it's fantastic. It's a good choice. It's a solid steakhouse just by itself and usually not very expensive. Yeah, I agree.
No, and if you haven't been there before, I mean, the big plus of the steakhouse is that it includes a super salad. It includes mashed potatoes and a vegetable. They have some bread. It all comes with it. You don't have to a la carte get this and that. They make it pretty simple for you. I mean, it's got the smokiest of smoke smells, like when you first hit the front door.
It's true.
But I think it's a pretty good place to have a reasonably priced steak meal in Vegas.
Yeah. Anyway, those are the couple we forgot, huh?
Yeah, those are the couple we forgot. But we also got a message from Mary. Mary said, I'm surprised you all picked Wynn's service as the best thing they offer. Their service level is okay, but I usually have better service at Cosmo.
Well, thanks, Mary. I think it's one of those things that you can certainly, and I kind of tried to cover my ass, if you will, a little bit on the last show by mentioning that experiences can be different for different people and things like that, and not everybody at Wynn is going to be great. And I think that that's true. I think that you can have a not great experience at Wynn. There are certainly, and Chris and I think have had that before, where you run into individual people that somehow aren't fantastic, or maybe it's not their best day. And I mean, everybody's idea of what good service is and where you are can be different. I mean, I think overall for me and Chris, just the level of service that we've had across the board beats anything that I've had across the board anywhere else. I've had great service. The bartenders, we'll talk about our experience at Venetian, but the bartenders at the High Limit Room at the Palazzo, I think are fantastic. There's a slot attendant that I think is amazing and over the top and probably the best slot attendant I've had. But I also had some experiences with service that weren't top of the heap. And so if you've had great service at Cosmo, then fantastic.
Okay, well, you're nicer about it than I am, Josh. Because when I heard somebody thought that Cosmo service level was greater than Wynn's, I laughed out loud. That is not even remotely close to being anywhere near accurate in the vicinity of truth. Cosmo may have a couple
Mary.
Yeah, sorry, Mary. I mean, thank you for listening. Goodbye. No, I mean, Josh, Cosmo, you may have individual good experiences in certain areas, but when you're talking overall service level, there is nothing even remotely close to Wynn. We have stayed at every top-end property in Vegas multiple times. There's nothing that even compares from the ground level all the way up, whether you're talking about just housekeepers, through valets, through drivers for the company, waiters at restaurants, dealers, cashiers, players club helper. It does not matter what we're talking about. The level of service there is well beyond anything else that you get anywhere in Vegas. And saying an MGM property's up there it's pretty funny.
One thing I would say, and not trying to say that this is what happened to Mary, but maybe at Wynn, you could run into situations where you feel like if you don't measure up to what Wynn wants to see in a customer, maybe you could feel that you're being put upon or put down or something. I don't really think that's happened to me. I certainly have situations at Wynn where I feel a little intimidated.
Sure.
That kind of thing. So maybe that could factor into an opinion, just a thought.
Yeah, but I've never thought that being at Wynn, like I've never felt like people are pretentious around me or anything like that.
I haven't
like,
felt that
you don't
really
belong.
either, yeah.
I don't think that ever really pops up. They seem to go out of their way to make everybody feel welcome. It's not like they treat the slot player that has a $100 bankroll any differently when they come through the casino than, the super rich guy.
Right.
Okay, Josh, a final message I thought I'd include from Steve. He said, for Planet Hollywood, I honestly consider the Miracle Mile shops its best features. So many restaurants, stores, shows, etc. What do you think about that?
I'm not going to argue with that. You know, we love the Miracle Mile shops. We'll talk about one on this trip, maybe a couple. But I think it's one of my favorite places to kind of, if I'm doing shopping, everything from the ABC store to sweets to, you know, the theaters that we'll talk about. I love the Miracle Mile shops, and it's a great part of Planet Hollywood. Not probably my favorite, but close.
Oh, I agree with you. If I don't spend time in malls in Vegas.
Right.
But if I was ever actually wanting to shop in Vegas, that is the mall I would go to. That's where I'd feel the most comfortable.
Yeah. It's a great spot, Steve.
Okay, moving right along. Josh, you and I are just back from a trip to Vegas. We had all sorts of fun, lost all sorts of money, at least I did, and it was amazing. So we have to talk about our lovely trip that we had.
We do, and we're going to break this up into a couple parts. We're going to do part 1 on this show, episode 92, where it's the me and Chris part, and then I stayed, as you know, for a couple extra days, and we're going to do that on the next show, so episode 93.
Okay, sounds good. So Josh, let's talk about getting out there. I told you probably starting a couple days before the trip was about to happen, I was starting to get really antsy about flying out there. Not so much because I didn't want to go or anything, but I was a little concerned about, like, you know, our TSA agents disappearing. Is flight traffic controllers, are they going to be there? Like, am I going to get stuck in Vegas and not be able to get home? That would be miserable. I already have a bad enough trip heading out there. So I was starting to get antsy about it, but I can safely say that nothing went terribly wrong.
I know. I woke up in the morning of the Vegas trip, and I know Chris is already supposed to be in the air and on his way, and I checked my phone. Okay, Chris is not stranded at Atlanta or wherever it is.
No, I didn't get stranded on the way. I mean, granted, it takes me 9 hours to get out there, but I was able to safely make it to Vegas without issue.
So I had the same, no issues for me either, and I got to Vegas before Chris did, and I think I landed about 9:30, 10, somewhere in there, and I got my transportation was ready. I got the text from the driver as I was about to get off the plane or something like that. And of course, my room was not ready this trip. So I hung around in the VIP lounge there in the check-in area at Venetian.
Yeah, it's a nice little
Palazzo,
area in there. I know you were in there as I walked in. I will say about transportation, Josh, I think Venetian is doing a better job now that they brought it in-house versus before when they were farming it all out to Bell limos and transportation and all that stuff. They seem to be doing a better job. They usually call you the day before to confirm your time and your arrival and all that stuff. Right. I always appreciate that because I have some hosts that don't always confirm, like, oh yeah, I got you set up for this, this, and this.
Right.
So it's nice to get the confirmation call, at least acknowledging me that I'm on the books to have a car ride.
Yes. In fact, when I got my confirmation call the day before, Chris, I was on there twice. They had me booked twice.
They were
and I said, nope, just
going to get
traveling
you.
by myself, so I only need one car. He's like, how many cars do you need? Just one.
Yeah. Well, all my bags, I don't like my bags to go in the same car as myself.
That's right.
So if you could put those in a separate vehicle, I would appreciate it.
The dogs have to ride separately.
Yeah. Send a limo for those guys.
So Chris, as I'm waiting for my room, I try to I don't want to be pushy, but at the same time, I was hoping to have my room as soon as possible.
Yes.
And so about 11 o'clock or somewhere 11:30, I went up to the front desk person or the desk person there in the VIP lounge. And I said, just check it in, try to be real nice and happy.
Any
and
update here? Yeah.
Friendly. And she said, oh, your room is on the rush list, something like that. And so I wait like an hour or on the, the priority list. So I wait like an hour. And then I went back and tried to, check. And she said, well, we had to call in a special table cleaner for your room.
The fact that that's a job is amazing.
I'm like,
you got to call Bob, but we got a bad table going on right now.
She said we had to call in a specialist. And I'm thinking to myself, what in the world did the last people in my room do to the table?
Or not, what did they do to it? What did they do on it?
On it, right.
The problem.
Whatever that needs to be cleaned. That was the first for me. I've never had that. So I'm waiting for Chris. And Chris, you arrived, about 12:31, somewhere in there?
Yeah, somewhere in that time frame.
And I'm just doing some work. And then the VIP lounge, Chris comes in. Was your room ready?
No. And it was by far my biggest disgruntlement of the whole weekend. Look, I don't know why, Josh. I don't think it's too much to ask that if you have a hosted player, you know what time they're coming because you're literally picking them up. You have their room ready for them. It's one thing when we talk about service levels, when you go to Wynn, even if you're getting there at 9 o'clock in the morning, your room is ready. And they will even make sure that your room is ready if necessary by doing a sleep out where they will literally book the room the night before to ensure that nobody's in it when you arrive, that your room will be ready to go. Fast forward to Venetian Palazzo. That is not their same train of thought and not their same level of service. Josh, my room was not ready. I let you know that it wasn't ready. She said, oh yeah, your room's assigned. But she goes, there's somebody in it right now. They're not checking out till 4. So your room probably won't be ready till at least 6 or 7.
So Chris and I differ a little bit on this, and that's good. And that's I think you'll find the theme of this show is slight differences on
Sure.
opinions on the properties and where Chris feels he belongs, where I feel I belong. But I tried to tell Chris the difference between this and Wynn is that at Wynn, we are on the very rare occasion where we've had like salon suites or executive suites or things like that. We're getting a standard Tower Suites room, which is not a suite. It's just a room in the Tower Suite side of the property, of which there are a lot. At Venetian, we actually he had the ESS room, a special suite that has, the super shower and the elliptical. And you did have the elliptical, right? I never saw your room. Did you have the elliptical?
It did. It didn't work, by the way. I actually went to use it, put on workout clothing, got
just another
on it,
tick.
and there's a power outlet right in front of where the elliptical sits. But there was no power cord running from the elliptical to it, so there was no way to utilize it.
Did you try and use it, though?
Yes, I did. The screen would turn on with the electricity generated by me spinning the actual elliptical wheels. But if you ever stopped moving, it immediately kicked off, so it was unusable.
Oh, well, there's that. Anyway, my point was we have I don't know how many rooms of that type there are in Venetian, but it's a finite number, and it's not the number of regular rooms on the Tower Suite side. So my whole point of all this is when you have a special room type, you might have to wait a little bit if those rooms aren't available. That's my Venetian defense.
I get that, Josh, but at the same time, there's a difference between waiting a little bit and having a player come in that you know is coming in at 12:30 and telling them that their room will be ready
till 6
at
or 7.
7 o'clock at night, which is 3 hours after their even posted check-in time.
That's don't disagree with you on that.
Like, I feel like if you are going to make somebody wait, okay, 4 o'clock is a hard cutoff.
Right.
That's when that room better be ready, because that's when you guarantee it to be ready. And if you can't have a room ready by then you should have an upgrade available, or at least volunteer a different room level and say, look, I know this sucks. It's going to be 6 or 7. I can get you in this room type if you're okay with it.
Right.
And it will be ready right now. Because at the end of the day, you know me, I really don't give a shit about the room. I really don't. I don't care if it has an elliptical, and I don't care if it has a nice shower. Just, I want a room so that when I get there, I can put my stuff away, put my stuff in the safe so I don't have to check my bags, and be able to focus and function when I get there.
Yeah, no, I understand. I wonder what would have happened if you had said, I don't need the ESS room, whatever that room's actually called.
I did say that to him.
Well, I don't think you were, you didn't say downgrade me. You didn't say I'm okay in any room type.
I said, I'm okay. I said, is there any room that you would have available now? I said, the room type is not really that important to me.
But if I were
you did bring up a good point though, Josh, afterwards, after we were walking away. I wonder if there's something in there where if a host recommends a certain room type, that the front desk can't drop below that without getting permission.
That's a question I had too. Anyway, I get the negative feelings, especially because your room did not end up being ready, as I recall, until 6-ish or so.
Well, it was even worse than that, Josh. It hit 6:15, and they said they had my phone number. They said, I'll text you as soon as the room's ready, because they had already given my keys, just not a room number.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you had the keys.
And it hit 6:15, and they'd sent me like a, hey, welcome to the property. How's it going so far text, one of those default ones. Right. And I immediately texted back and said, terrible, I still don't have a room, and it's 6:15 at night. And they texted me back probably 5 minutes later, oh yeah, your room's ready, it's room number XYZ. And that made me even madder, Josh. This was not a good start to the trip from that perspective, and I was not very happy with this person.
So while we were waiting for our rooms, we went and played some video poker, right? Is that what we did first? I think so.
Yeah, we played some video poker. It was nothing remarkable. I think I lost every dollar that I put into it. I don't think you had any good luck either. But Josh, it did lead us to the best part of the whole trip in my eyes, when we got to tour your room.
Yes. So I knew, and Chris didn't know this. I purposely I did not tell Chris this. So when I set up this trip, after having lost a lot on the last trip, I asked our host if she could do something special for me, given how much I lost last trip. I didn't say what or something like that. I think actually maybe I said, can I have a butler? And she said, no, but butler is whatever that amount I told you a couple shows back, $1,300 a day off your comps or whatever it is. But I'll do something special for you. So that's all I knew. I didn't know what that was going to be. You know, I thought it might be some sort of special room, but I didn't know for sure. I didn't tell Chris all this because I wanted him to be surprised and be jealous and all that kind of stuff. So we, about, I don't know what time it was, 4:00, let's say, I get the text that my room is ready after it's deep cleaning, maybe 2, whatever it was. And so I said, right, deep cleaning of the table. So we had we were playing at the video poker bar, but we had our bags with us sitting there at the video poker bar. So we go to the back to the VIP area. I get my keys. It's on the 50th floor, which is the top floor.
Top floor, yeah.
And which I've never been on before. And it's when you get off the elevators, it's a different decor.
Yeah, completely
than the
different
other
carpet,
floors.
different elevator design. Yeah, everything was different.
It was super cool. And we go down to my room. We went in together. We see it. And Chris, why don't you give your opinion?
Well, Josh hadn't told me at this point that he had a different room yet. So when I walked in, I was like, what the hell? It was such a dichotomy of things going on in that room because there were so many things that I thought were so cool. But at the same time, it looked like a room that was 50 years old. It had many functions inside of it that were at least 30 years old. So I did not have the ESS room. And I a good podcast would tell you what the type of room I had was. And I can't remember. But, I think it's listed as a theater or executive suite or something like that. And so we go in, and it's like 2,000 square feet, this room is. So it's as big as people's houses. And there's a powder room, bathroom, just the toilet area with a coat closet. I don't think I've ever had a room with a coat closet before. And you go in, and it's this gigantic living room space with a grand piano. Yes. And Josh, I did look it up very quickly while you were talking. It's the Executive Theater 1-bedroom king suite.
There we go. And this is at Palazzo. And it's just an enormous, so this room is enormous. Massive, with like 2 couches and chairs and, as Chris said, 30-year-old pillows everywhere and 30-year-old furnishings and a desk, the same desk that you have in every other room. Like it's a tiny desk for the size of this room.
Yes,
it's dwarfed.
It looks a little out of place. Yeah,
it does. But it's got the grand piano, which is cool, and a TV. And what else did it have, Chris?
Well, it had a separate theater room with something I've never seen in a Vegas room before. It had karaoke. It literally had a karaoke setup that ran through the TV. It had a book of all the songs you could type in. It had 2 wireless microphones in there. Josh, I mean, this was probably 20 years ago, the coolest thing ever. Now
it still was kind of cool. Yeah.
Did you ever use it after I left the room?
Oh, no, I don't even think I ever went in that room.
Okay.
In fact, I couldn't even turn the lights off in that room at night. I tried and I couldn't figure it out.
No, but it did have that. The only thing I was a little disappointed at, Josh, is that those executive rooms, those executive theater suites, they either have a choice between a piano
and
or what we've been talking about forever, a pool table.
I know.
I would have been so happy if you had a pool table because I would have sat up there with you all day and just shot pool and watched college football and stuff.
Right. No, that would have been fun. As it is, you did play a little piano.
I mean, I grew up playing piano as a kid. I was in a band in college playing drums and stuff like that. So I feel like I've always been in the musical side of things, but it's fun. But there's a big difference between a piano and a pool table. I was a little disappointed in that, but still just shocked at that room overall. It was such a huge room with some really interesting features. It even had a Blu-ray player, Josh. No Blu-rays and no way of getting them, but it had one.
This was the craziest room. I mean, a karaoke room. I've never had a hotel. I mean, we talk about the pool table. I didn't even know a karaoke room was a thing.
I didn't either. Not in 2025.
With the piano, it was, and I did have the super shower. So I didn't have the elliptical, but I did have a super shower. So that was really this room was totally wasted on me. I mean, it's great to have it. It's fun to talk about on the show. Absolutely wasted.
Now, Josh, did you say the super shower like it's this great thing? Did you have any issues with hot water while you were there?
Nope. No.
Okay, I did. And I
was further up, so I'm probably close to the tanks if they're on the
probably
top floor.
What it is. I mean, I was on the little plebeian floor, floor 47 or something. No, Josh, the only issue I had was they use on their showers, they use those valves that have a stopper on them so you can't turn the water up too high. Like they put it, so they cut it off before it gets like it would get scalding hot.
Where you can burn yourself, right?
Yeah, which I guess is a safety feature. But at the same time, mine, when I turned it as high as it would go,
right,
it was lukewarm. And it was like that the whole time that we were there. And I really hated that because it took away from a cool shower experience and made it actually not that great.
Made it a cool shower experience.
It made it literally a cool shower experience.
Well, that's too bad. No, I didn't have any issues with the water temperature or water pressure.
Yep.
I love that. The room itself was wasted on me. It was really nice. I'm glad to have it, as I said,
Sure.
but it does seriously though, and you really realize it when you have a room that big. They absolutely need to renovate the Palazzo rooms, if for nothing else than the electronics, than the electrical outlets and charging ports and all that kind of stuff. It was
Apps
a lovely
on
room.
TVs, all the things that you would expect in a modern new room.
Yeah, it's just, that's where the dated aspect of it. I found myself actually trying to hunt for a place to plug in my charger to charge my phone.
Yes.
That kind of. So it was.
The outlets aren't in normal places. They're not on the nightstands where you expect them to be. They are, but they're behind it and hidden, so you can't get to them.
Right. Same thing with the desk. It's hard to do. You have to go down behind the desk to actually plug into a plug kind of thing. Anyway, that's just a minor complaint. I was thrilled with the room. I was happy to have it. I don't need it again. It was great to have, unless we get the pool table room.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. Josh, I feel like we could sum up our whole trip together by just saying we played a lot of video poker, not because Chris wanted to play video poker, but it's literally the only thing that Josh wanted to do while we were there, other than
that is not
some
true.
Moderate crap sessions.
Right.
Where we walk around and be like, table's got somebody on. Let's go play some more video poker while we wait. Oh, let's go play that slot machine that I've been wanting to play. It was really hard to get you to a craps table while we were there this weekend.
I don't think that's true. I think Chris is. That is not. I played 3. I think it was 3 sessions with you.
That's not a lot.
No,
not
I
over
guess
2 days.
But yeah, yeah.
For me, all I play is craps when I'm there.
Right.
So yes, that is not nearly enough.
But I did get Chris drinking a little bit at the video poker bar, getting to know the bartenders. I had some nice video poker hits. I had a couple times where I hit 2,000 aces, and this is Ultimate X 3-line. $1, so $30 a pull thing that I did most of the time.
Yeah.
And I had some nice hits. I think I got 800 aces, but it was whatever it would be 4 times.
Yeah.
So that was nice. But yeah, you did not have much luck at video poker at all.
No, slots and video poker this weekend in general absolutely destroyed me. I had 3 hand pays for the whole weekend. None of them were over $2,000.
Right.
Just terrible, terrible luck when it came to that. We had set the over-under. I set it at half of a royal. You told me I was ridiculous and it should be 1.5.
1.5, right.
I'm very glad I took the under. You now owe me $100, so you can
we
send that
haven't
over
covered the second part of the trip.
Royals.
We haven't covered the second part of the trip yet. You're giving it away.
We were talking about our royals, Josh, together, and we had 0.
That's true. We did have 0. I don't even think that I had 4 to the royal the whole trip. Pretty sure I didn't.
Yeah, I don't remember having it at all, but I was lucky to get a pair. It was not going well.
Yeah. So let's see. Friday. So we got there Friday. So this is Friday. Friday night we had, and I think we told you about it, but we didn't tell you what it was. We had show tickets.
We did.
And Chris and I were trying to decide what show to see. And we were thinking about the old standbys. And we thought it had been a while since we'd seen Zombie Burlesque.
It had been a while. I think it'd probably been more than 2 years. And we've talked so highly about that show. I felt like we should go back and see, does it still hold up? Is it still as good as it was before? Or do we just have a one-off experience that was great?
And full disclosure, we bought our own tickets. These were not comp. These weren't hosted. The show didn't provide them, anything like that. We just bought the tickets. Yeah. And I thought up until we left, that it was at the Venetian Palazzo Grand Canal shops. I thought it was in my head.
I don't know why you were thinking that. I was like, Josh, we need to go take a cab. He's like, why? Because I said, we have to go to Planet Hollywood.
We can walk to Venetian, Chris. We can walk there from Palazzo.
Yeah, we could have. Yeah, it was pouring down right now. So we did have to take a taxi, but had to head down to the Miracle Mile shops.
Yeah, and it was really pouring. Not very often do you get this going out, especially me who doesn't go outside much in Vegas. Yeah, so we went to the Miracle Mile shops and we went to see Zombie Burlesque again. Chris had gotten us tickets in the 3rd row. I think it was the 3rd row.
Yeah, I asked Josh, I said, where do you want to sit? Because it was wide open when I ordered the tickets a month or 2 ago. And he said, let's do 3rd row. We don't want to be too close because we don't want to get picked on for something.
Which we would have.
I'm glad we didn't. And we made the smart choice of sitting in the middle of the row. So, because if we were on the aisle, our 3rd row aisle guy did have to go up on stage.
And being 2 guys sitting together, if we'd have been on the aisle, very easily could have been some teasing that had gone on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have like the Love Connection game show sort of thing on stage. I could have seen both of us up there together.
Oh, my God. That would have been hilarious. So overall, Chris, what did you think of Zombie Burlesque versus last time?
It hadn't dropped off at all, Josh. It was just as funny as I remember the first time. It felt, I mean, there are segments like every show that feel like they drag a little bit more than they should. You know, of course, you like certain segments more than others.
Yeah.
But overall, the quality of the show is really good. The host, it was pretty much the exact same cast that we had last time we were there, especially the like MC that kind of runs the thing. Very, very good. Very funny. I mean, the only like thing I would take a couple points off for is it's a burlesque show where some of the women on the show aren't the like prettiest that you would really pick to be in a burlesque show from that perspective. But we all have different types of people that we find interesting. So what I might not have loved, you might love. So I hate to take points off for it, but overall, just a really fun show.
Yeah. And what I would say about the dancers, for lack of a better way to describe them, is I think that I think they're the same ones we saw a couple years ago. So they're focusing on the talent that these dancers bring, I think, more than just bringing in the youngest, prettiest, maybe.
Yes, I think like when you compare it to like a Caesars burlesque show, like X Burlesque or Country Burlesque or whatever it is they do, I think that they have a tendency to bring in, you know, the 21-year-old who may have no talent at all, but she's young and pretty.
Right.
And so they think that's what works. They obviously go the opposite direction at Zombie Burlesque, where most of their dancers appeared to be 35 to 40, maybe a little younger on a couple of them. But at the same time, they also had some other like really good dancing skills
and things,
and actual talents that could be taken advantage of.
Yeah, I agree. And so it's a really fun show. I think
it is.
It wasn't, I don't think it was as much fun as last time, but only because I knew exactly kind of what was coming.
Yes, there was no shock factor or surprise.
Right.
I mean, we knew some of the, you know, the gags before they actually happened.
But still, lots of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's not a long show. It was a lot of fun.
The only thing I would point out, Josh, as a true negative of the show, the sound quality in that room is really, really poor.
That's true.
When he's talking through the microphone, especially when he gets excited, I really struggled to even understand what he was saying. Because when he started yelling, it just became muffled garbage in this space because the sound, it's just, I mean, the speakers just aren't good.
Yeah, it's not a great theater. It's a fairly small, intimate theater. I think you're right. I didn't remember that last time, and I wonder if it had something to do with, our seats weren't in the prime space.
Oh, that's true. Maybe if we were further back, the sound would have come together more. It does have a live band, if we didn't mention that last time. That's a huge plus.
Oh, it's like the performers it's not a really expensive show, and they do a hell of a job with what with what you're paying per seat. I mean, there's a 7-piece band that's playing. All the singers are really singing. One of the burlesque dancers is also a singer, and she's fantastic and really good. Like, so they do a great job with the cast that they have and the people that they have.
I agree 100%. So, Josh, that was a fun way to finish off Friday night. But before we wrap up Friday, I do want to mention when we were walking back through Miracle Mile shops to go catch a taxi to head back up to Venetian Palazzo, we found something that just made my heart a little happier than it was before we got there. Yes, the cookie place, Toll House Cookies, is gone. It's been gone for a long time. It's very sad. But they now have a Great American Cookie Company there.
Which I had never heard of, but you knew of this company.
I love Great American Cookie. We have it in every mall in this part of the country. So you can always get a Great American Cookie.
Yes, we each got a couple cookies, took them back to the hotel.
What'd you think? Pretty good?
Pretty good. Not as good as the Toll House. I didn't, I could have got a sandwich cookie. They offered to even make me a sandwich cookie there, but
put the cream filling in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were very good.
Yeah, no, very good. But I'm glad that's there, though. I feel like we had to point it out.
So we woke up Saturday morning, as promised, for coffee dice.
We did.
And I think Chris was up at like 4 a.m. as usual, or he was just
I think I was up. It might have been before that, Josh. I think I probably texted you at like 3:30. Like, I know this is funny, but I'm up. Because when you're I can't adjust my schedule at all. I get up at 5:15 East Coast time every day, weekends included. So for me at 2:15 Pacific time, it's time to get up for the day.
Yeah. So we found a table. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know if you do, if we were at Venetian or Palazzo, but regular craps, not crapless. And was it a $15 table when it started?
It was a $15 table. At least when we first got there, it was.
Yeah. And we did our usual thing. We didn't have a great, we didn't hit the all tall small, although I think Chris hit one of either the tall or the small.
I hit a side a couple times, but we didn't have an all the whole weekend.
But we did have a good first session. I think we were up considerably and then pulled back a little bit, but we still left ahead.
We did. Yeah.
Which was really good. Good dealers, good, really good crew. I like the boxes. Yeah, we had a good time.
They're not the most memorable people in the world, the dealers there, but at the same time, they're always pretty darn solid. The boxes are, usually pretty good, although they don't have dedicated boxes. They have people floating around, which I don't particularly love. But other than that, Joe, we had a good first session there for that day. We actually didn't play any crapless the whole weekend.
No, we didn't. And Chris, I have one thing I wanted to tell you. Now's a good time to say it. The crapless table in the high limit room, which we never played because we looked a couple times, and it was at Palazzo, which we looked a couple times, and it was $100. It's not crapless.
They switched it?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me even madder.
Because you would have played 100 if we're knowing it was
I
regular.
wanted to play Friday when we got there, when we were waiting for our table, and Josh is like, oh, no, it's not a big deal. And it was only 50 at the time. So I was like, we absolutely should go play at that table. And he's like, no, let's take our stuff up to the room, play some video poker. And then on Saturday, when we were in the video poker area there in the high limit bar, I looked over and it was at $100.
It was 100, right.
And Josh is like, I don't want to play $100 crapless. I didn't actually go over to the table and check to see that the actual felt had changed.
So on one of the days after you left, I got a little tilty and maybe had a few drinks. And I thought, I'm going to go and play crapless in the high limit room. Screw it. I'm either going to win a lot or lose a lot. And I go over there and it's like, I bought in and I hadn't even realized yet. I looked down and I'm like, wait, this isn't crapless. And they're like, no, we had a high bankroll player a few weeks ago that requested regular.
Okay.
And they switched it and they just haven't changed it back.
Huh. Well, I hope they keep it that way.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love crapless, I feel like a high limit room should be traditional craps. That feels better.
Yeah. I mean, I like crapless sometimes, but it was nice. And I ended up on my little tilt session winning like $800 or something. So that was good.
Nice. Well, congratulations. That's a plus. So other than that, Josh, the only thing else I wanted to mention about craps, less tables at Venetian Palazzo. They removed a table at both locations.
Yeah, that's true. I'd forgotten that. They did remove a couple. And I don't think there were as many tables open as I remember.
It didn't feel like they had, most mornings they had 2 with occasionally 1.5. And then by the evening, they were back up to having 4.
Yeah.
But I mean, either way, I didn't like that they'd removed tables. They had less open. Clearly there had been a shift there. Yeah, just not heading the right direction from that standpoint for me, because I mean, I find it very important to be able to walk down and find an empty table that we can walk up to. And how many times did you and I make the walk between Venetian Palazzo looking for a table to play at to find them all full?
We did that quite a bit. And then we'd walk back and it was the same situation wherever we had been.
And Josh would be like, video poker time, video poker time.
I wasn't too bummed out about the whole thing. But
no, he was not upset. But I'll say this though, Josh, for the weekend, I would have made money if I just played craps, but I got absolutely destroyed because I didn't.
Yeah. And you lost, I think, on video poker and slots. I ended up winning on craps and video poker and losing on slots. But
I think any money that we ever put into a slot machine was immediately lost. And Josh, more importantly, found a new Huff and Puff machine he wanted to try. And that machine alone cost me, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000, it feels like.
So there's Huff and Puff, even more enough stuff, whatever it's called. And I wanted to try it, of course. And I told Chris, let's do our buy-in. Yeah, a couple times. And so Chris and I, pool our money, but we each play individual machines. And what do you think of it, Chris?
I like that it had slightly more features to it occasionally. Like you could get on a pretty good streak, but I would never play it again because it felt like you had absolutely zero chance of ever making money on that game. The bonuses did not pay enough. They didn't come frequent enough. And you're constantly chasing getting your row to get the bonuses and stuff. And it does not work.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And we won't get too far into the slot talk part of things, but I felt like it paid more often, like you got little bonuses more often and you hit little things.
It was a slow drain, but there was never a chance that we were going to, even when we got like the best feature you could get on a $20 bet, it paid like $600.
Right. No, it
just doesn't work.
I may have, after you were gone, gotten one hand pay on it, but I still don't feel that it was so I'm not in any hurry to play that one again. In fact, I'm going to try and swear myself mostly off of slots going forward. Slot
I don't
Vegas
play when
is
you're
dead.
not there. So, I mean, you're a bad influence, Josh.
I know,
just taking me away from what I love. Okay, Josh, let's talk about food.
Yes.
Because there was a lot of different food things that I wanted to bring up from this trip. And the first one is Venetian's new food court is open. They have a bunch of new options there. We tried it, and I was really impressed with the offerings.
Yes, there were a number of places we didn't. There's a whole bunch of places. There's like 6 or 7 maybe altogether. Yes. But we tried. Is it Howlin' Ray's? Dave's?
It sounds
Howlin'
right.
Something.
Yeah. It was
Howling something.
It was a hot chicken place.
Right.
And it was excellent. Absolutely excellent. they're still working out some quirks there when it comes to the menu and what's available and what's not. But Josh, I mean, like you got 3 tenders. I only got 2 because I wasn't as hungry. Those things were the size of large chicken breasts. You could have got one and probably been okay. It's not cheap for what it is. I think I got 2 tenders, a side of fries, and a bottled water, and it was $34.
Right.
If I remember correctly. But the food quality was really good. The pizza place in there looked excellent. There's a ramen place. There's a burger place.
Mexican place.
A Mexican place that I wanted to go check out and I didn't get a chance to go over to. Just a really good place to go grab a quick meal.
Yeah, and I'll say going back to the chicken place, the Howlin', whatever it is, if you look at as Chris said, the chicken tenders are huge. They're
Massive.
very, very good. In fact, Chris, I think I ate there counting the time with you 2 other times, so 3 times altogether.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Okay.
it was
Gotcha. Yeah.
that impressed with it. But they have their big primary menu item is 3. You can also do a sandwich,
tenders.
which I guess is their specialty, but 3 chicken tenders for $15. Down in small print off to the side, you see individual chicken tenders are $5. So
Well,
you're not getting
I
any
saw that
sort
the
of-
first day.
Right.
So I did order just 2 because I only wanted 2 and it didn't cost me anything getting a smaller
Right.
order.
You're not getting a deal for the 3. So just keep in
No.
mind, I would say for one person, even if you have a big appetite, if you
Two's
get
good.
the fries, 2 and fries is plenty
Yes,
food.
absolutely. And those fries are excellent, by the way.
Oh,
I
the
highly
fries are
recommend it.
wonderful. Yeah. If you like spicy, they give you you can choose your spice on the chicken, everything from mild all the way up. There's like 5 or 6 levels. I did medium and that was plenty spicy and I like spicy food and it was spicy.
Excellent. So that talks about the food court a little bit, Josh. But what I do want to hear about, because I wasn't there, was Bazaar Meat. You had a dinner reservation that night, and I ended up bailing on it because I just couldn't stay up. I was tired. I was worn out from the trip already, getting up so early in the day. I've eaten at Bazaar Meat before when it was over at Sahara, and I know how long it can take to eat when you're there. So when you put all that together, like there was no way I was going to function until 9 o'clock at night or later. So I had to bail out on it. But tell me about your experience at Bazaar Meat and what you thought.
So I had no idea what this was going to be. So
Okay.
I didn't know. I just figured Bazaar Meat was a meat place, steakhousey kind of thing.
Not steakhouse. It is a
Right.
meat place, though.
So yeah, not a steakhouse. It is a meat place, but I didn't know what it was going to be. And I had invited our host, Chris, to come and join us. And our host had originally said that couldn't because she had things going on. And then she said, it wasn't really her kind of style of restaurant. She likes her meat cooked. And I
Yes.
was like, okay.
I do too. Yeah.
Right. So
What do you
I was-
say?
I was a little hesitant kind of going in, not knowing, and I looked at the menu and it looked like there were some things on there that I could.
Yep.
And then I thought, just to hell with it. Kind of like Pisces, I'm going to just be adventurous and just go with the flow and whatever happens. And I was with our friend Marilyn, who was joining us for dinner. And in fact, I think she had set this all up. And so I'm like, I'm just going to go and enjoy it and just see what happens. So kind of I'll start off by saying, I thought when I started looking at the menu and I thought I'm going to order just the individual things. I found this
Yes.
on the menu that I thought would be decent and then this and then this. And our server came out and started telling us kind of how it works.
Mhm.
Most of the things on the menu, with the exception of like steak, are 1 bite or 2 bite items.
Yes.
So, and I didn't quite, and I don't really like to share food. So
Well,
I was like,
if it's not like family, yeah, it can be kind of weird.
yeah. And even with family, I'm not a food sharer. I don't
Okay, I
like to
gotcha.
share I just want what I want. And if I have extra, then maybe I'll share it at the very end, but don't expect it. Anyway.
Okay, I got you.
So I was like, okay. So I started asking questions about the menu. Our server was there. Really phenomenal service. Really phenomenal service.
Good.
Everybody had walkie-talkies and, you needed something. It was out in a second and all that kind of stuff. So our server said they have their big tasting menu. And he said, and Marilyn was thinking about doing that. And he said, well, if one of your party does the tasting menu and one of your party does order off the menu items, it mixes up the timing because
Okay.
they have everything timed to come at certain times. So what he encouraged me to do, he said, if you're thinking about the tasting menu, if that's something that's appealing to you, but not everything on the menu is something you want. And I'm calling it the tasting menu. I don't know if that's officially what it's called, but it's the prefix
Yeah,
menu.
I got you.
And he said, if there are things on it that you don't like, he can swap those out for an equivalent of the
Like
main
price
menu.
level item. Yeah.
Price level and course.
Yeah, if it's a
Level
salad, get a
kind of
salad.
thing, right.
Yeah, I got you.
So he said, what is it you don't like? And then what are you thinking of? And so I said, well, And I think Seth, our listener Seth, had recommended the olives. And I said, well, I really wanted to try, I like olives. So I said, I really wanted to try the olives. And he said, well, but I don't want the shrimp cocktail. So he said, we can switch that out here and that kind of thing. So we had a few of those items. And speaking particularly about the olives, Marilyn was not a big olive fan, but our server said, I really, really want you, Marilyn, to try the olives. So we got two of the olive things.
Okay.
So let me start off by saying that I had a cocktail, Chris, and my cocktail was smoky, and it was called the Floral Cloud. And it has, I'm looking at the menu now, it had Ford's Gin, Lemon, Maraschino Liqueur, and Creme de Violet, and Hibiscus Rose Cloud.
Oh, wow.
There we go. And it
That
was
is very high.
$24.
That sounds like I was going to say, that sounds like a $47 drink. Yeah.
Yeah, it was $24. So, okay, long story here. I won't go into the whole tasting menu except to say that, Chris, this is like 14 courses. I mean, you have a server coming 14 times to your table with things. And they tell you about each dish and how you're supposed to eat it and what the flavors are going to be. And, do you chew it all at once? Do you take a bite of it? All that kind of stuff. And then at the end, you have a steak. So like I was kind of full at the end. We get a steak at the end that we're sharing between two people. Overall thoughts, kind of as we wrap this up. Overall thoughts. Not my favorite restaurant if you're going to eat.
Okay.
If you're going for a meal. If you're going for a steak meal.
I mean, that's the only reason I go to restaurants.
I know.
Continue
I'll get there.
on, though.
If you're going to kind of, talk with your friends and just have a hearty meal, I wouldn't say go to Bazaar Meat. What I would say about Bazaar Meat is, first of all, if you're a foodie and food adventurous, that's going to be more up your alley.
Yes, I agree.
But I also think it takes the place of like a show. Like this is an entertainment. This is a form of entertainment rather than a meal. It is that too. But this is, instead of going to Zombie Burlesque or Cirque du Soleil, you go to Bazaar Meat and you're gonna pay a similar price in total, maybe, or even more.
Even more.
And you get a 2.5 hour dining experience that's 14 courses, that kind of thing. So I look at it as an event in Las Vegas almost more than going to eat dinner.
Okay, I never thought of it that way when the time I went there. A lot of the things that you're mentioning are things that rubbed me the wrong way when I went there. We've talked about on the show, I don't like 2.5 to 3 hour meals, period.
Right.
I don't care where it is. I don't want to take that long to eat. I want to get in, get out, and be done. When we went to Delilah that time, Josh,
that was
it
a
took
long one.
4 hours.
Right.
That was probably the worst dining experience of my life. And the food itself was actually okay. There was nothing wrong with it. It was actually decent. But that being said, I don't have any desire to spend that long at a restaurant. And my thought process is usually the same. It's very rare in my actual normal day-to-day life that I ever eat steak for dinner. It just doesn't happen. I don't do it with my kids. I don't go out separately and like go get a steak dinner on the side with people. I don't do it. The only time I eat steak dinners is when I go to Vegas. And if I want a steak dinner, that is the absolute last place in the world I would ever go for a steak dinner, because that's just not what they are. They aren't a steakhouse. They're a meat shop. But if you want a good steak dinner, you need to go to SW or Delmonico or, even STK would be far better of an option if you just want a steak.
And I will say that the steak we had was wonderful near the end. It was fantastic. It just came 2 hours in and, that whole thing. Yeah. And I was fairly full by that point from having 13 courses before that or whatever it was.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
So a couple other just closing thoughts. This was far and away the most expensive meal I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
This one cocktail and this tasting menu was about $300 a person.
That's insane.
That was so. And again, full disclosure, I was able to charge this to my room and have it comped off at the end. So I was reasonably sure that I wasn't going to pay for it. Not 100% sure, but reasonably sure that I wouldn't have to pay
the tip on it, though, Josh.
I did have to pay the tip on it. Yep.
Tip on a $300 bill is not the cheapest.
No, it wasn't the cheapest. Yeah, my tip bill was pretty expensive this trip. But anyway, but it was very expensive. If you're interested in food and flavors and you're that kind of person, which I know a lot of our listeners are, fantastic. It probably isn't a place I'll go again.
Okay, that seems fair. You didn't mention the location at all, Josh. I think it's so weird where it's located now. For anybody that's walked into the Palazzo lobby before, they always have that little rotunda right in the middle, like a big fountain and stuff used to be there right in front of the check-in area and the VIP check-in.
It's gone.
That's now gone. And now there's just a staircase leading you downstairs to Bazaar Meat.
Right. It's a cool location, but if you had been there before, in fact, when I I didn't realize until I think it was Chris and I were walking back, and I'm like, oh, that's where Bazaar Meat is, this hole in the ground now in the middle of Palazzo. I don't know if you know this, but when you go down there, like we were sitting, you actually are looking out on the Las Vegas Strip. Like you're at strip level.
I did not know that.
Like we could see out the windows. Yeah, we could see out the windows to the Strip. In fact, our server was saying that the week before, the whole Vegas Knights team had rented the space, and they were sitting outside on the strip patio seating, which was kind of cool. Yeah.
That is really cool.
Just kind of in closing, a really, really, really nice experience. As I said, the service was top notch. I liked it a lot. It was great. Maryland was fun. We had a good time at dinner. It was a little too foodie for me overall, but I'm glad I did it. There were a whole bunch of dishes that had flavors that I would not normally have tried, Chris. So I was proud of myself. I ate everything that was put in front of me. I was proud of myself for that. So
I hear you.
It's a win.
Okay, Josh, so let's wrap up quickly on the trip. The only thing else that we did together was on Sunday morning. We had another coffee dice session.
We did?
It went remarkably well, but again, we stuck around a little too long, but we had an excuse for it.
Yes, it was a good session. I think we went up again. In fact, I was, we were kind of winding down and you had a good roll. And in fact, I think I said, I'm going to stay one more roll. And then you had a good roll. And then I said, okay, I'll stay one more roll because we're waiting for listener Seth to join us, who had recommended the olives at the Bazaar Meats. And Seth hadn't come yet, and we're continuing to lose. And I'm like, I don't want to lose everything I was up on this session. So Chris, I'm done. I called it.
He did. Seth still wasn't there yet. Josh walked away because I started to roll, and I started to have a really good roll.
And I can't watch.
And Josh said, I can't watch this anymore. So he literally left and didn't even see Seth when he came over. I did proceed to, I hit the tall, almost made the all, Josh. I was a 4 away from making the all, had a good run, got up. And then when Seth got there, it turned right back to shit. We had 5 or 6 bad rolls in a row, gave up everything I had made. Thankfully, we had one decent roll at the end that Seth was the shooter. He made me back a little bit of money. I got to even at the table, even though I should have walked away a big winner. And I said, Seth, that's it for me, my friend. I just wanted to play with you for a minute. He thanked me for even sticking around since Josh was too much of a jerk to do so.
That's right.
And then eventually I went and hunted Josh down in the high limit slot room so we could say goodbyes and move on.
Yeah. And did want to say, so although I didn't get to see Seth, thanks for coming. We had a few other listeners that came by. One person who I think was a listener joined us at Craps a couple different times at Palazzo, but never introduced himself and looked like he knew us, but he could have just been a friendly person. And I didn't want to say, hey, do you know us from the show? And so
that'd be a little pretentious, wouldn't it?
So, right. So if you are a listener and that was you, then it was great to play with you. And as I recall, you had some better roles than we did. So that was nice. And it was fun playing with you. If you were just a random person, then you probably never hear this again. But I think we had a couple other listeners that also joined us. I didn't write down who it was, but
no, it was a great time that weekend, Josh. I'm so glad you and I got to have an actual Vegas vacation together.
Yes, it was nice to see you.
Not even that, together, and we participated in activities together, unlike when you went to Venetian Palazzo and I went to Wynn and you made me walk across just to see you at the bar for an hour. That was great.
It's true. Now, I still made you go to the bar or play video poker with me, but at least you were in the same place.
Yeah, but see, I may have to, we'll have to talk about it on the next episode when we have more time, Josh, but I may have to give up Venetian Palazzo now because it's not my cup of tea on what I want to be doing, especially when you're there, because you forced me away from what I want to do. And now I'm losing Wynn Black status.
That just made you grumpier, right?
Which just, I don't know. I got to figure out what I'm going to do there. But anyways.
Well, let's talk on the next show. We'll finish up my trip and we'll talk about kind of overall feelings on properties as we kind of wrap the year up.
That makes sense to me. So after the break, we will answer a couple listener questions and spin the big wheel. So stick around. Josh, Zorkfest 2025, tell me all about it.
Well, I've been told it's just the right amount of loyalty and comps. Did you know that?
Just the tip.
Just the tip. Just the perfect right amount.
That's right.
Anyway, Zorkfest is coming up. It's going to be at the M Resort this year, which I'm super excited to go to. I've never been to M, so I'm excited to stay there, play there. It's going to be December 5th through the 7th, 2025. Really fun weekend. One thing I did want to mention, there's still some tickets available for Coffee Dice, which I believe is going to be Sunday morning. So get your tickets. It's going to be a lot of fun. Coffee Dice is always one of the big hits of the event. We had 2 tables last year, so go ahead and get those tickets. And then we're going to have a Friday night reserve craps table for our patrons too. So, and those tickets I think will go on. They're not going to be on sale, but they're just be available, I think, August 1st-ish or so. But get tickets for Coffee Dice because that is filling up. Really excited for Zorkfest. Hope to see everybody there. We'll have some surprise guests. Who knows who might show up.
Ooh, too. So if you want to get on over there, get signed up, get your tickets and all that good stuff taken care of, head on over to zorkfest.com. That's ZORKFEST.com. Josh, videopoker.com is now an official sponsor of the Crap Vegas podcast. For those that aren't familiar, videopoker.com is the ultimate destination for video poker players. With paid memberships, you get exclusive training tools, real-time feedback on the plays that you're making, the most popular game variations out there. Whether you're trying to fine-tune your strategy or just take your game to the next level, videopoker.com has you covered.
You've heard Chris and I talk about it before this even came about. We love it. For training, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm on it almost every day trying to train myself on stupid Ultimate X.
I have been too recently.
Exactly.
It's really cool because it will tell you, like, you've made the right decision on 87 out of 100 hands.
Right.
And it tells you exactly what you should have done if you make a mistake when you're making your choices. It keeps all that information historically for you so you can kind of go back and see how things are going. Josh, it's just a really good tool if you're going to be a serious video poker player. And as I start to get into it more, I feel like if I'm going to do this, it's like blackjack basic strategy. I need to know the best plays so I can eliminate the house edge as much as possible.
That is exactly right. I've been doing it almost nonstop on 3-line Ultimate X, and you can choose when you're going in and configuring your games. You can say, I want to play Ultimate X, I want to play double. I'm playing in a machine that's going to give me 9-5 or 8-5
you can
or
choose
whatever
the
it
pay
is.
table that you
Right,
want.
all that stuff.
Yeah, you can choose all that stuff. It is 100% customizable once you get into the paid higher levels of the plans. And even if you don't want to pay for it, I understand that. They have a free membership. You got to watch a couple ads before you get into the game. Still worthwhile doing at the beginning, and maybe you'll see, okay, this is something I like, so I want to upgrade. But either way, if you're ready to play over there, we'd love for you to go over to crapvegas.com/poker to sign up and start improving your edge today. Okay, Josh, let's just take one email this week since we're running a little long. We got an email from Andrew, and he says 2 thanks and 2 questions. Thank you, number 1. Love all the content as a new KCS member, especially the recent episode on casino offers. Great info. And thank you, number 2. I banked some episodes, so I had several hours of content to listen to during a marathon last Sunday.
Ooh.
Thanks for the distraction during the run, although it only lasted until about mile 22, at which point the marathon began to suck. So, Josh, I guess in the future, we need to make sure we keep enough content for all marathon runners to have enough to get through the whole marathon.
I think in general, marathons suck. So,
Yeah. You don't even have to be listening to us. It just sucks in general. Okay, his first question. In a recent show, you answered a listener question about what bankroll is necessary at different properties. When you say bankroll, is that synonymous with coin in? Or would there be some mathematical relationship, i.e. you bring $10,000 cash or have a $10,000 marker, and that would equate to $50,000 in coin in? So, Josh, when we're talking about bankroll at properties, we're not exactly talking about coin in going through a slot machine.
No, absolutely not. Great question, Andrew. And that is something that I can see being kind of confusing if we just throw out the term bankroll and then you have coin in. Coin in's totally separate thing. Bankroll is, to me, and Chris, see if you disagree, but what I'm comfortable losing over the course of a trip. I might have a day or a trip or whatever it is, but that's my bankroll. If my bankroll, let's say, is $5,000 for 2 days, then that means when I lose $5,000, even if it took me 5 minutes, I'm supposed to stop if that's my bankroll. Coin in is how much money you're cycling through, in theory, slot machines with coin in, but any of the games. So it can be, there can be coin in, quote unquote, on table games as well as slot machines and video poker. But it's, video poker, let's say, returns 97% on a lot of games. So that's 97 cents out of every dollar that you're supposed to get back over the course of time. Well, you're not going to quit after you play $1's worth. You're putting that 97 cents back in and winning 97 cents out of the 97 cents and then 97 cents out of whatever's left out of that and so on. So you're cycling all this money through. So you might lose your $10,000 and have a coin in of $100,000, depending on how the games went, that kind of thing. So they're really 2 separate things.
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well there, Josh. I don't equate coin in really with anything.
Yeah.
Because coin in is such a meaningless number when it comes to how much you won, lost, wanted to win or lose. You could have a really good VP session that lasts 2 hours and you get $100,000 in coin in and you made or lost $100. I mean, it happens all the time. You can do the same thing on slots where you cycle through a ton of money, but you hit one big jackpot, get you back up, you get back down to even, and now all of a sudden you got $50,000 in coin in on what were $2,000 that you started with and you didn't lose anything.
Right.
It's important to the casino because they care about it for comp perspective, which are theoretical losses. And that's all based off coin in when it comes to slot machines. But yes, I consider bankroll just to really be the number that I'm bringing with me for the trip that I'm comfortable losing.
Yep. And Chris can actually do this thing where I tell him how much my coin in was, and he'll tell me what I should have lost. So I'll know if I did better or not than my theoretical based on the coin in.
And Josh has had some pretty crazy coin ins recently from his trips.
I have.
Question number 2, he says, is it possible or worthwhile to call a property and ask for the casino host if you don't have one? Looking to go to the Avalanche at Night's game later this month, so I thought about calling Park MGM to see what they could do for rooms and tickets. Appreciate all the great insight.
Well, I think it depends. If you have some sort of status at the property or not, maybe. But if you don't have, I couldn't tell from what you said, Andrew said. If you're just coming in cold, then I think the chances of getting tickets or things like that are pretty remote.
Yeah, I would think almost zero, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like he didn't have a host there because he was trying to get in touch with one.
Right.
If you have a host at a property, you can reach out to him. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a host at the property that you're trying to see the event at. So,
Right.
I mean, if this is, say, a Knights game that's kind of tied into MGM and stuff like that, or a concert at MGM properties, you can ask your Venetian Palazzo host or your Wynn host, and they have access to tickets. They trade back and forth with other hosts at other properties, and they can
Right.
work together on these things. So don't feel like you're hamstrung based off where the actual event is. But at the same time, if you don't have a host and they don't know who you are, they'll give you a room, but they're not going to give you tickets on your first trip.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Now, Chris and I have mentioned this before. I think it just comes to mind because it came recently. But our host at Wynn sends us, or at least me, and I think you too, Chris, a random email with every single possible show in Las Vegas.
Of things coming up listed by date in Vegas. Yes.
And in theory, I could reach out to him and say, can you get me tickets to this particular show? He's going to say no, but
Yeah.
I could.
But you can ask. There's
I
no
can
reason
ask.
that you can't ask.
Anyway, so yeah, if you have a host or you're of a certain status, you might have more luck. But if they don't know you, the chances of getting any kind of tickets are pretty low, I would think.
Yeah. And keep in mind that all of these places have bulk amounts of tickets at certain things like Raiders games and stuff.
Right.
Every property's got, a suite here and 10 tickets here. They have the ability to make those things work. It's just if you qualify for it.
Yeah.
Okay, Josh, I think that's going to wrap it up for questions right now since we're running a little long. So let's keep it moving. Patreon. That's patreon.com/crapvegas. What do we have new over there?
Well, of course, we have our Fading Crap Vegas show. And Chris, I've been informed that not all of our patrons are sports bettors, so they don't always enjoy Fading Crap Vegas.
Well, nobody's forcing you to listen.
Well, there's that. Yes. I was going to say that we don't do Fading Crap Vegas. We kind of do it for sports bettors, but if you trust us for our sports betting knowledge,
That's probably a poor choice. Yes.
we try and make it fun regardless. But yeah, you have to have a little interest in sports to enjoy Fading Crap Vegas, I suppose. But we also intersperse our Fading Crap Vegas, which we do every week on Patreon, with our bi-weekly other content that we do. This last show, for example, we did a whole 30 minutes or so on blind ranks because we had so much fun blind ranking on the last regular show. Chris and I each gave each other 3 blind rankings, which was a whole ton of fun.
It was.
And we have 2 different levels of support that you can give us. We have our regular kind of base level that gets you access to all this extra content. It's $7 a month. And then we have what we call our KCS level, which is $20 a month. It's the best way to support us. We appreciate it most of all. And that gets you access to all the extra content, but also an unedited video feed of this show, which is oftentimes a lot of fun. We try and do a little extra minute or 2 here and there. You get to see all the fumbles and flubs that we do.
Oh, yeah. So a big thank you to those that signed up over the past 2 weeks. We have VP Mornings with an annual subscription.
Thank you, VP Mornings.
NorCal Aussie. Shy AO123 with a KCS membership.
Thank you, Shy AO123.
That's as good as it could have been like Shyao, but I didn't want to guess. Marcus B with a KCS membership.
Thank you, Marcus.
And Mateo A with an annual KCS membership. So thank you, Mateo.
Thank you, Mateo. And thank you, everybody. Thanks for your support.
Absolutely. We really do appreciate it. Josh, we're down to 17 entries left standing in our Survivor contest.
That's amazing. I think in Tim's, The Better Life's maybe down to like 12 or something. I'm still alive in that one.
Wait, keep going, Josh. Do we split that if you win anything?
Nope.
Is that Crap Vegas money?
Nope.
Okay, good to know. Upcoming trips. Josh, I know you're going to be back out there in just a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'll be there for F1 weekend. Should be a ton of fun. And then Zorkfest, December 5th through 7th at M, which is going to be really, really a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. All sorts of different activities. I'll do a little more low rolling, I think, probably after the F1 trip, unless F1's really fantastic. Then I can go bananas at M.
And unfortunately, Josh, I don't have any trips planned before the end of the year. I'm not happy about it. It means my win black status is about to disappear, and I don't know how to cope with life right now.
Yeah, what do we think the over-under is on you sneaking in a trip?
We'll put it at 10%.
Okay. I don't think that's how over-under works, but you know.
Over-under one trip?
Well, over-under one trip, exactly, right? A half. It's a half.
Okay.
So we don't want to push.
A friendly reminder to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcasting app and to visit our merch store. That's crapvegas.com/shop. We've made it to the end. And Josh, it's time to spin that big wheel.
Let's spin the big wheel.
It's time to spin the Crap Vegas big wheel. Are you ready? Josh, spin the wheel.
Josh, did you get a Huff and Puff bonus?
No, that's our leading into it's Halloween time.
Oh, that's even better.
So, Chris, as we approach Halloween time, of course, the wheel has to pull out Halloween related things. Did you hear about the contest that's going on at El Cortez?
No, Josh, that's not usually on my social media feed. What did I miss?
So, El Cortez, there's a way for they're saying one brave soul to win $5,000 to investigate paranormal activity at El Cortez.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
The company says they're offering people the chance to investigate with fully equipped ghost hunting gear to see if the famous ghost stories of El Cortez are true. The ghost hunter will check into the El Cortez for a haunted weekend stay where they'll explore the casino's oldest and eeriest corners, searching for signs of ghostly activity. They'll have EMS meters, EVS recorders, and thermal sensors to detect unusual activity at night.
Wow. So exciting. Are you big into those shows that they have on like Travel Channel and stuff or stuff like that?
No, that's not really my thing.
It's not mine either. This sounds absolutely silly.
This contest goes from October 6th to October 31st, so it's going on now. If anything spooky is found, the ghost hunter is expected to take photos and videos for evidence.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing, Chris, and this is what I was a little stunned when I read this at the end of the story. El Cortez is not directly affiliated with the contest or its organizers.
Some outside entity is just sponsoring it at their property?
Apparently, they said El Cortez is aware of a recent online contest promotion related to a Vegas ghost hunt and is not affiliated in any way with this contest or its organizers, a spokesperson said.
What's even crazier, though, that means that when you do this spooky tour to the most haunted areas of El Cortez, they all have to be on the main casino floor.
I was like, I don't understand how this is going to work, but whatever.
I mean, you can go to the elevator, spooky. Oh no, the corner where all the homeless people hang out. Woo!
It threw me off. Anyway, let's spin the wheel again.
Me too.
All right, Chris, it looks like one more Halloween themed thing here. Of course, we have, and I think we did this last year on the wheel, we've got our Halloween experiences. You can pick which one you want to do in Las Vegas for Halloween.
Sounds great.
We've got indulge in a spooktacular Halloween in Vegas with Lord Luxury at Omnia Nightclub. Don't miss the scariest and sexiest night of the year. If you're looking for an unforgettable Halloween night experience, in the City of Sin, Omnia Nightclub is the place to be. Come dressed as your scary, sexy, silly best and celebrate Halloween with Lord Luxury on October 31st. What do you think?
Well, Josh, you know, Omnia is not my favorite nightclub in town. I have many that I prefer much more than Omnia. But the description given about the experience while you're there was right up my alley.
Yeah,
so
that would be.
I do think that would be kind of fun.
All right, we've got a similar one here. You can take your Halloween night to the next level with 1,400 square feet of LED ribbons, 5 themed VIP suites, and 2 levels of unparalleled nightlife and murder beats at Jewel Nightclub.
Murder Beats. Yeah,
Murder
big.
Beats.
I'm a huge Murder Beats fan. I can't believe he's going to be in Vegas that weekend. It's a he, right?
I'm not sure. And then we've mentioned this place before. We've mentioned the Sea Mountain Lifestyles Resort, if you remember that. They also are having a what do they call it here? An unforgettable adults-only Halloween experience. Get ready for a night of spooky, fun, and sexy surprises in our clothing-optional temple. Dress up in your most
Ooh.
seductive costume and dance the night away with like-minded individuals. The perfect event for those looking to let loose and indulge in a night of pure pleasure.
Where was this at?
This is at the Sea Mountain Lifestyles Resort, a clothing-optional place.
I kind of thought it was going to be at the Green Door based off what you were describing
Right.
there. So I am familiar with that. I don't know, Josh. I don't know how I feel about that, but I have noticed a pattern that in Vegas, something just can't be spooky. It's got to be spooky and sexy.
Sexy,
And
right.
I'm okay with that. I think that's a great idea. But in general, is there anything just spooky by itself in Vegas?
Nope, I think Vegas, you've got to have sexy.
Spooky, sexy. Gotcha.
Well, they're calling this their fetish Halloween ball. So there you go. Spooky and
That-
sexy for sure.
Spooky and sexy is what that is.
The last one, Chris, and this might fit your this is just spooky, but maybe not sexy.
Okay.
This is the Fear Zone at the Adventure Dome. This is a
Ooh.
brand new haunted experience at the Adventure Dome, which we mentioned already. It's opened already. It's immersive Halloween haunted attraction, combines terrifying haunted houses, live scary actors, a roller coaster experience in the dark, and 5 acres of fear-filled scream park. Think
Ooh.
zombie-infested nuclear bunker, a house of murderous hillbillies, and a forgotten funhouse with undead clowns.
What is your thought overall, Josh, about haunted houses? Do you enjoy going to them?
I haven't been to one in so long.
But is that like your thing? Did you enjoy it when
No.
you were younger going to them? Or are you like,
Not
no,
really.
it's
I wasn't
fine,
really
but
a haunted house. I wasn't like I never liked that kind of scare, that kind of thrill, like
Jump scare
jumping
stuff?
out of. Yeah. How about you?
Gotcha. No, it never was my thing either. Like, it's not that they're scary because, like, I like scary things and the houses themselves, some of them are really good. But just, I don't know, that whole scene of haunted houses,
Yeah.
I've just never been into. Like, I know my kids are just absolutely terrified of any houses like that or anything like that. They
Yeah.
never want to go. I'm not like that. I don't have any like, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to do this. I just don't find them that enjoyable, honestly.
So of the 5 things, if we count the El Cortez,
Uh-huh.
look for ghost experience, the 2, the Omnia or Jewel, the clothing optional fetish
Uh-huh.
thing, or the Fear Zone at Adventure Dome.
Well, the bookends I'm going to rule out. I mean, I can't choose Elko because it's not even officially licensed. This
Right.
is some
It's
random
just people
rogue
wandering
agents.
around.
You're just walking around the casino floor with a bunch of gadgets. They'll probably think you're cheating on their table games and toss you out halfway through.
You're going to get tossed out.
Josh, I'm going to go with the Lifestyles Resort clothing
yeah.
optional, spooky but yet scary at the same time. And quite frankly, certain people taking their clothes off can be scary.
It can
So,
be.
I mean, I think that's probably what they mean.
And that reminded me, as I'm looking through events here this
Yeah.
week, there was also some sort of Golden Girls lookalike
Oh.
contest. Speaking
Oh,
of,
that
yeah,
sounds fun. I loved Golden Girls. I would go to that.
that's for your Halloween speed.
I'm right there. B. Arthur naked on a couch. What else could you possibly want for? Okay, Josh, with all that
That's
being
the
said,
image
I
we
feel
want
like
to close with.
it's time to get out of here. We're getting a little slap happy. Everybody, thank you for listening. Next episode, we'll talk about Josh's trip by itself, but looking forward to it.
Bye,
Okay,
everybody.
Josh, this has been fun. Talk to you guys later.
Vegas, here we come.
Thanks for listening to the Crap Vegas podcast.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
Check out all our recent news and our Vegas trip calendar by visiting crapvegas.com.
See you in Vegas.
Every episode's supposed to end with a discussion of who the hottest Golden Girl is, doesn't it? How old are we? What is going on?
Who you got? B. Arthur, Estelle Getty, Betty White. Who's your pick?
Who was it that played Blanche Devereaux? Was that Rue McClanahan?
Oh, Rue McClanahan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Rue, but she was a stunner.
Perfect.
Perfect.